guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting my how-to series, and we're starting out with things that I wish I knew when I started doing my own eyeshadow. This includes things like blending, where to add color, how to add color, just simple things that I think made a huge difference in how my makeup turned out. Things that I kind of learned along the way with experimenting myself, watching videos, and trying different products. And if you want to hear some of the tips and tricks that I have learned, then please keep on watching. So after experimenting and playing with more makeup, kind of getting to play around with it and see what works best, I've learned a couple things that I really did not know when I was in high school, or things that would have just made it so much easier to do my makeup. I think these small things can make a huge difference in how your eyeshadow is blended and just how your eye makeup looks in general. They're all really simple. So the first thing that I suggest is that you use a base for your eyeshadow. So this could mean either eyeshadow primer. They have a good Urban Decay Potion Primer, or you could use a concealer. I use concealer, it's just easier because I don't have to buy another thing and I'm cheap like that. When I conceal under my eyelids, I just add a little bit concealer to my eyelids as well to kind of make a base. It just allows the eyeshadow to stick to it better. So I'm going to use the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Like I said, I just usually put it on when I'm adding concealer under my eyes, but I didn't add any today. So usually I'll just put it on like this, like so. And then with my beauty sponge, which I use to blend it out, I just tap it all over the eyelid. I also really enjoy doing this because it takes all the veins away and kind of blocks any discoloration I have on my eyelid. I like to always set this, so typically I'll go in with my face powder or the skin colored eyeshadow that is in the palette that I'm using. So today I'm just going to use some face powder that I use to set my concealer and just tap this all over the eye. And once again, this will just allow our eyeshadow to kind of blend better on our eyes. The second thing I recommend is that you get yourself a lot of good brushes. I know when I started doing my makeup, I insisted that I needed only one brush or something like that, but I think it makes a huge difference in more intricate looks as well. On a daily basis, you could probably get away with using 1, 2, or 3 brushes. When I do cut creases and stuff, I definitely need more brushes, and when I use more color, I definitely need more brushes. When I did my makeup look that I just posted last time, I used about like 15 brushes, I think. I would suggest that, especially for beginners, you get a lot of big fluffy brushes. So Morphe definitely has some good fluffy brushes. They have the M505, the M441, and the M330, and these are just some of the ones that I have that I really like. And then ColourPop has one too. It's just the tapered blending brush, I believe. So those are definitely ones that I think are good for starting out. When you get to more intricate looks, I would suggest things like this brush, the M506, which is literally my favorite brush. I want to buy more of these because it really allows you to get darker colors where you want them to be, so they're not all over your eye and the looks doesn't get messy. But I definitely suggest that you invest in some makeup brushes. My mom still uses the sponges, and I even bought her makeup brushes and she doesn't use them, so it makes me so frustrated. And when I see her eyeshadow, I tell her, please just use the makeup brushes that I bought you. And it really does make a difference, I think. So that is the second tip that I have for you. So my third tip is that you use transition shades or transition colors before you go in with a dark color. I always thought that if you wanted to do a dark smoky eye, that you would just go in with the black or the dark brown right away. But if you do that, then the blend is definitely not going to be there. You'll have harsh lines and it just won't, it'll look very messy, I would say. Almost all the looks that I do, I start out with a lighter brown shade, kind of a little bit darker than my skin tone a lot of times. And I think like all colors basically go with brown, that's why. So in my Morphe Dare to Create palette, this one is huge. As you can see, they have a whole line of transition shades that you could go into. before you start your makeup out with all these vibrant colors, and I think that's very, very useful. I think that you should use transition shades no matter what. I always start out with a big fluffy brush, so I'm going to go in with the Morphe M505, and it's just big and fluffy. So it covers basically like a big portion of my eye. So I usually go in with brushes like that first to just bring the first shade all over my eyelid. We're going to go into this palette, and I'm going to use this third color right here, which is called Sunder. I just go in windshield wiper motions and bring it back and forth on the eye. And as you can see now, you can see a little bit color on my eye. Nothing, just barely darker than my skin tone. And it's gonna allow the color to, the transition to really happen and colors to blend better together. I think I'm gonna be using these blues today just to be more fun. So continuing on, I'm gonna go into the next darkest shade, which is this one. And this one is like more orangey, I would say. And it is called Define Me, and go lower in the crease. So I'm gonna go into this color called Cut Crease right here, and it's a little just more chocolatey instead of that orangey color that I just went into. So once again, I'm gonna bring it lower than that first transition shade that we used. And this is still part of the third tip about using transition shades. So my fourth tip would be to always have an extra brush, just a big fluffy brush, to always be able to blend out the outer edges. So even though my blend is not that bad right now, with no additional product, I'm just gonna go in and just blend where the two colors meet. And also just the outer edges, anywhere where I feel like there's harsh lines. So this is where the multiple brushes really comes in handy, because you want to use a smaller brush with the darker colors. So the darker you get, you kind of just want to go smaller. So we're going to go in with an even darker brown. I'm going to use this brown on the bottom. It is called Cat Eye. I'm going to go dark in the lower outer corner. So I'm going to use the M506, which I said again is my favorite brush. It's just so small and precise, yet allows you to blend really well. So I'm going to add that on the outer edge. And once again, we're just going to start low and add the color here, and then eventually we're going to blend it out. So I'm not bringing it higher than that other color, I'm just going to add it to this portion. And also when I blend the edges out, I like to bring it in a little bit. Once again, with that brush that we used to blend everything out, I'm adding no more product and just blending the edges out again. You can also use the brush that had the transition color from before. I'm also going to dip back into it a little bit to blend the darker brown in again. So my fifth tip is don't be afraid of color. That's not really a tip, but it's something that I wish I knew, because color can seem scary, but if you just, you know, keep on working with it and kind of give it time, then it works great. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to use color. So to give it a base, we're going to go in with this blue right here. It is called Indigo, which makes sense since it is blue. And we're going to put that on the front of our lid. It's like a concealer brush. I'm going to dip into this color and kind of brush it on the front of my eye to give the blue color kind of a base. It looks super bad right now, and it looks kind of like I have a black eye, but that's fine. We're just messily putting this on since we're gonna put the other color on after this. And you can't find the brush you want. So I'm gonna use this flat shader brush by ColourPop. These are really good to put on pigments and glitters. So I'm going to go in with, I don't know what color I want. So we're going to start off with this royal blue color right here. It is called Dare Me. Okay. They're daring us to use this color. So another thing that really helps out, kind of part of using color and using pigments, would be that you should always spray your brush with anything like a setting spray or water even before you go in with your pigments. And it just picks the color up better. So I'm using my ColourPop Amethyst Crystal Priming Spray and then dipping into this. And it just picks up product a little better. As you can see, the blue came off very bright and vibrant. And now we're just gonna put this on the eyelid. Instead of using a brush, you could also use your finger and the pigment comes off great. So I'm gonna use my, I guess my pointer finger, even though it's kind of messy. Dip into the color again and put the color shade on my eye. Especially when I'm not doing a cut crease, I like to do this because it kind of adds a blend. Pretty, pretty. Now to lighten the front part a little bit, I'm gonna go in with okay, so it got really intense really fast, but this is what we have now. I just added this color called, it's called Color, to the inner corner, and then on the outer corners I added this color called Indigo, which we laid down at the beginning, and I added some black to kind of give it some smokiness. Then I just blended forever, like for a very long time. Like I said, don't be afraid of color. If you just keep going, it'll turn out, and when I add the lashes, it'll be even prettier. So I'm going to go add lashes and liner, and I'll be back. Okay, so I did some lashes, I did a wing liner, and this is what we got. So I don't even know what number tip we're on right now. I think 6. So tip number 6 is that you should add more highlight to your face. This is one of my favorite things to do now, is to like add a highlight to the inner corner, and I think it really makes your eyes pop more. So I'm going to do that. I like to also use the highlighter that I use on my face because I feel like it brings the look together. So I'm going to be using this Pixi by Petra Pixi Glowy Gossamer Duo in the color Subtle Sunrise. Very creamy. Yes, they are so pretty. So I'm just gonna take some on a small brush. I like to use this one because it's like circular and it fits my little crevice right here. I'm gonna take the gold one and pop this on the inner corner. I just feel like that's just like the prettiest thing ever. Oh my god, I love it. This is also the highlight I'm wearing right now. Okay, and also I like to add the highlight to my brow bone. So just on the upper part by the arch, I like to just go very lightly with this. So we're almost done, and as you can see, our eyes are very top heavy right now. So my last tip for you for eyeshadow is to add eyeshadow on the lower lash line. And typically you'll just use the colors that you use on the top to kind of like replicate the top on the bottom to bring the look together. But this time I kind of want to do something different, so I'm going to add kind of a brighter blue. First I'm going to add eyeliner to my waterline. The Dare to Create palette, this is really pretty blue, bright blue on the bottom. It's like an icy blue. It's called Taylor. And I'm going to smudge that on the bottom lash line. I'm going to use this Morphe M213 brush. Okay, and for the outer corners, I'm going to add the dark blue. The indigo color. So that is all for this video. I hope you liked it. I think I included 8 tips or tricks that I wish that somebody had taught to me before I really started doing my makeup that much. And I know it's really intense and scary, but I just wanted to show you that the tips and tricks that I kind of had today were really helpful in like achieving a look that seems so scary and so out of my comfort zone, honestly. And if you like this video or like this how-to series, then please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!